Two boys are born on the exact same day in the same city. One looks out through a pristine, sunlit window, surrounded by inherited abundance. The other looks out through cracked glass, born into severe financial scarcity. We often assume their trajectories are set the moment they leave the hospital, that one is destined for the top and the other is locked into a struggle at the bottom. But scarcity involves more than just a lack of funds. It triggers a mathematical penalty where the basic mechanics of survival actually cost the poor boy more than they cost the rich one. Inherited wealth acts as an external shield, but shields can be lost. The true variable is what happens when that protection is removed, and how it compares to the internal armor forged by the person who had to pay the invisible tax of poverty every day. This concept is known as the poverty tax. It is a compounding financial penalty applied to anyone who lacks the upfront capital to make optimal choices. This graph illustrates the logic. When you cannot afford a single efficient investment, you are forced into a series of smaller, inefficient payments. Over months and years, that lower initial cost compounding upward, eventually costing far more than the one-time purchase. Poverty is a structural trap that charges a recurring fee for the simple state of being poor. As the boys grow into young men, this math dictates their daily reality, starting with the very things they wear. The poor boy's family can only afford $20 shoes. Because the materials are cheap, the soles wear through in 3 months, forcing the family to find another $20 for a replacement. The wealthy family spends $100 on high-quality boots. These are built with durable materials that endure for years without a single repair. Watch the cumulative math. Over 3 years, $20 intervals keep stacking up. The poor family spends twice as much money. The same markup applies at the grocery store. The wealthy buy staples in bulk, while the poor pay a heavy premium for single-use containers. This inability to afford durability or scale creates a relentless drain on the family's already limited cash flow. Eventually, life presents a major hurdle, like an engine failure or a medical emergency. The wealthy family uses their savings to settle the bill immediately. The crisis ends as quickly as it began, leaving their future income untouched. But the poor family has no reserve. To stay employed, they take a high-interest short-term loan. This flowchart shows the result. Interest payments expand, siphoning off next month's rent money, turning a temporary problem into a permanent anchor of debt. Without a safety net, a single stroke of bad luck can steal years of future earnings. By the time the two reach young adulthood, the financial environments they grew up in have shaped their internal habits. The rich boy has never felt the friction of a limited budget. This total insulation has left him without any sense of financial discipline or an understanding of how to manage a dwindling balance. The poor boy, however, has been forced to survive a rigged game. He has spent years meticulously tracking every cent and planning for the exact day his bills are due. He has mastered the art of living on a fraction of what he earns. The constant friction of the poverty tax forged the exact operational skills needed to sustain wealth, while the ease of abundance allowed those same skills in the wealthy son to wither away. An unforeseen crisis hits the economy. Interest rates spike, credit markets freeze, and the wealthy father's over-leveraged empire becomes insolvent. The rich son is suddenly stripped of his capital. Without his father's accounts and possessing no personal discipline, he is paralyzed. He doesn't know how to survive on a budget or manage a crisis. But the poor boy treats the downturn like any other month. Because he is accustomed to living below his means and has avoided the high-interest debt traps that are now crushing everyone else, he has the one thing that matters in a crash: liquid cash. While others are forced to sell their assets for pennies just to stay afloat, he uses his hard-won savings to acquire them. When external capital disappears, survival is dictated entirely by a person's internal financial mechanics. Years later, the boy who was born into scarcity now oversees a thriving enterprise. His position was the direct result of the discipline he practiced during his years on the margin. He learned to survive the poverty tax, and in doing so, he built a foundation that no market crash could take away. Money can be inherited, but true wealth is found in the planning, the discipline, and the skills a person builds to thrive without it.